Okay, greetings everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. All right, so this is part 2 to the 2021 paper 2 for social studies. You guys have been asking for it. I am so sorry that I posted it late, but I had a lot of things doing. All right, so before we get into part 2, I need you guys to go over to my other YouTube channel and subscribe. Please, it is Curry Fences on YouTube. I'm going to drop the link in the description down below. Hey, just go over there and subscribe, man. And after exam, you know, watch some of the videos then. You get what I say? And bring up my watch hours to 4,000 watch hours. Understand, yes, a lot of things are going over there with the challenges, a few little pranks. It's not a prank channel, right? It's more of a farming channel, right? So a lot of things about farming is over there, right? We have some serious conversations over there and we have some challenges, some good reasoning. All right. All right. So for the first question, remember that this is the options section, right? This is section 2 of the exam where you'll be given communication, consumer affairs, and tourism to choose one of the questions to answer. So I'm going to go through all 3 questions today. All right. So first one on communication is press freedom in the Caribbean, the challenges of ownership. Write a presentation that you would make to a Caribbean Media Association conference on the topic above. In your address, define the term freedom of press, state 2 forms of ownership of the press in the Caribbean, outline 1 challenge the press faces because based on one of the stated forms of ownership, explain 3 measures a government may implement to ensure that the press observes the required regulations, and finally explain why each measure is likely to be successful. Let's attack the first part of the question that says, define the term freedom of press. What is freedom of press? Freedom of press is the right of a newspaper, magazine, TV, radio, etc. to report news without being controlled by the government. So you can simply look for the meaning of this online or using your dictionary or even your textbook. That's totally fine. All right. Next part of the question says, state 2 forms of ownership of the press in the Caribbean. There are really 3 forms of ownership. There's private, public, and then there is joint. Joint is co-ownership between private and public. Good. It says outline 1 challenge the press faces based on one of the stated forms of ownership, right? Public, let's look at public form of ownership and we're going to outline 1 challenge, right? When it is publicly owned, it prevents the presentation of a variety of views on particular issues or events, because when it is public, it's usually owned by the government and then they will publish 1 view or 1 side to the story. The government is not going to make itself look bad. So it's always going to publish the good side, or even if something bad happened, they are going to spin it for it to look good or not so bad. Understand? Next part of the question that says, explain 3 measures a government may implement to ensure the press observes the required regulations. All right, 3 things that they can implement, that is the government, to ensure that the press observes the required regulations. 1 is a broadcasting commission. The Broadcasting Commission may determine the proportion of local and foreign material that locally owned radio and television stations may transmit. It also sets guidelines or establishes codes of conduct in relation to accuracy, impartiality, public taste, product, or political advertising. Another one is censorship boards. This is a form of regulation of the press that involves examining material with the aim of removing anything that is considered morally harmful, offensive, or politically dangerous. Then there is the good legislation. Broadcasting legislation prohibits the transmission of any material that is profane, indecent, or incites violence against any person or group. Defamation laws cover such things as libel and slander. The next part of the question now says, explain why each measure is likely to be successful. Why is the Broadcasting Commission likely to be successful? It is likely to be successful because when it establishes guidelines, if those guidelines are infringed upon, then there are consequences. No part of the press or the media would want to face such consequences. It's usually prison time or some steep fines that people have to pay that is going to make their pocket bleed. Nobody wants to give up their money like that, so they are more than likely going to follow the guidelines. And even if mistakes are made, though, there is some form of sanction, not to kill the person, but to ensure that that mistake is not made again. And you can use the same kind of justification for the censorship boards and for the legislation. So we are done with the communication question. So we now can move on to consumer affairs. This year, the communication question was very, very easy for January. I was surprised because communication is usually the hardest question. All right, let's look to now consumer affairs. The power of consumer demand. Define the term consumer demand. Outline 3 factors which may increase consumer demand for goods or services. Explain 3 ways in which consumers can contribute to sustainable development in the Caribbean region. And finally, explain why each way is likely to be successful. Part 1, what is consumer demand? Consumer demand is the willingness and ability of consumers to purchase a quantity of goods and services in a given period of time or at a given point in time. It now says outline 3 factors which may increase consumer demand for goods and services. Ensure that you explain each factor. You don't list them or name them. You give a sentence or 2 on each factor so that the marker knows that you know exactly what you're talking about. All right, so one factor that influences consumer demand is size of income. A person's disposable income is that money available after tax. The larger a disposable income a person has, the more likely they are to purchase. So that influences consumer demand. Another factor is taste patterns. Consumers buy goods or services to satisfy a need or want. Some products are particularly desirable for some individuals, and the greater the desire, the greater the willingness to buy. Thus, demand is influenced. Next one is savings. A person considering buying an expensive good may save money over a period of time in order to make the purchase. The amount of money saved will determine their willingness and ability to do this. Thus, savings influences a consumer's demand. All right. Next part of the question now. It says explain 3 ways in which consumers can contribute to sustainable development in the Caribbean region. 3 ways in which consumers can contribute to sustainable development in the Caribbean region, and explain why each way is likely to be successful. One way in which consumers can contribute to sustainable development in the Caribbean region is to prefer regional goods and services, right? When regional goods and services are preferred, it means that regional business persons will make more money and can expand their businesses. While they are making money and expanding business, it means that greater levels of employment will be reached in the country because local producers will more than likely employ a majority of locals to fill staff vacancies. Thus, that will ensure that there is sustainable development in the Caribbean region. Business persons are making money, locals are earning an income and can further better themselves. One. Another way in which consumers can contribute to sustainable development in the Caribbean region is investment in local and regional businesses. Consumers might be able to make direct investments in local and regional businesses. Businesses often rely on other individuals or organizations making an investment in order for them to expand or improve production. Consumers who manage to make some savings can always choose to invest in a local or regional business, right? Consumers also might be able to influence investment from other organizations. For example, they could lobby government to increase the amount of investment it provides to local and regional businesses. Consumers who use commercial banks could also choose their bank on the basis of how much regional investment the bank is committed to. So that's another way as well, and that is a very, very, very good one. So choosing to support local and regional businesses, this is me justifying it now. Choosing to support local and regional businesses through directly buying their goods and services or making investment will potentially lead to job creation, which will have a positive effect on the region's economy. Good. Another way consumers can contribute to sustainable development in the Caribbean region is conservation of the region's resources. If the region is to develop in a sustainable way, consumers have to make the best possible use of available resources. Why is this important? Energy resources are a particularly important aspect of Caribbean economies since the vast majority rely on imports of fuel to produce the energy they need. Adopting energy conservation practices, such as turning off lights and electrical equipment when they are not in use, or installing alternative forms of electrical production, such as photovoltaic solar panels, could bring benefits to the economy since less money will need to be spent on importing fuel. Consumers might be encouraged to adopt energy conservation strategies if they could see that it would reduce their own fuel bills. Spending a smaller proportion of disposable income on fuel means that more is available for the goods or for saving, right? So if consumers conserve some more, it's going to benefit them because they are going to also save money in the long run. Good? So easy as that, we are done with question 6 on consumer affairs, right? Let's move now to the easy question on tourism. Developing a tourism product in the Caribbean. Good. As president of a national tourism organization in your country, you have been asked to prepare a speech on the topic above to be delivered at an upcoming regional conference on Caribbean tourism. Write the speech in which you, 1, define the term tourism, 2, name 2 organizations which provide support for regional development of tourism. Describe 2 types of tourism products found in the Caribbean. Explain 3 actions tourism-related organizations may take to improve the quality of tourism product in the region, and then explain how each action suggested is likely to be successful. All right, good. Let's look now on this. Define the term tourism. Remember, you can use Google, you can use a dictionary, you can use your textbook. However, the definition for tourism must contain some tenets. So tourism is the movement of people from their usual place of abode to another destination or destination for reasons other than work, more than 24 hours, but less than a year. If it's less than 24 hours, then they're not a tourist. I think they're an excursionist. It's more than a year, they actually live there and they are no longer tourists. Good. Name 2 organizations now, which provide support for regional development of tourism. 2 regional departments that support tourism. All right, we have the Caribbean Tourism Organization and we have the Caribbean Tourism and Hotel Association. Then now describe 2 types of tourism products found in the Caribbean. There are several types of tourism. I think I'm going to give you 2 or 3. You have all-inclusive tourism. These are resorts or areas that have been especially developed to meet the physical needs of tourists and also create those pleasant emotions and feelings, right? An all-inclusive tourism product means that everything that a tourist will need during their stay is provided within the resort. So tourists go to this resort where everything is provided. Food, drinks, a place to sleep, entertainment, goods and services to purchase. Good? That is all-inclusive. Then now we have some new tourism product, right? We have eco-tourism, right? Nature or ecotourism caters for those who want to observe animal and plant life in natural habitats. The Caribbean offers rainforests, mangrove wetlands, bird sanctuaries, nature reserves, and marine environments, including coral reefs. So ecotourism is the natural environment. Good, let's look at sports tourism, which is a big thing in the Caribbean. Cricket, especially, and track and field. We have football somewhat, but cricket and track and field are major sporting events that attract tourists throughout the year in the Caribbean. Good. Sports tourism offers visitors the opportunity to participate in marine or land-based sporting activities. Marine-based activities include scuba diving, water skiing, swimming, sailing, snorkeling, surfing, and sea kayaking. Other tourists visit for sport fishing activities. Land-based sporting activities include golf, cricket, football, tennis, hiking, and mountain biking. Good. Next part of the question now says, explain 3 actions tourism-related organizations may take to improve the quality of the tourism products. Explain how each action suggested is likely to be successful. So explain 3 actions tourism-related organizations may take to improve the quality of life. What can the tourism-related organizations do to improve the quality of the tourism product in the region? I'm going to give you 2, and you're going to come up with 1 in the comment section, right? And remember too that you need to justify. You always need to justify any action or any way that you give. 1, the tourism-related organizations can implement more conservation efforts. More conservation effort is needed, right? If conservation efforts are put in place, then it's going to improve sustainability, right? So we don't deplete all our resources and we don't destroy the natural environment to create more tourism products. Also, tourism-related organizations can give more opportunities for training, because if people are highly trained, then they are going to know how to meet the needs of tourists and cater to them. And when that is done, then we are going to have repeat visitors. My laptop is dying, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get the charger quickly. All right, yes. So if there's more opportunities for training, then certain skills can be developed, which can improve the tourism products, because the aim of any business in tourism is to make money. So I've given you 2 so far, right? Ensure that there is sustainability in terms of conservation efforts, and then give more opportunities for training. You're going to come up with 1 for yourself in the comment section. So ladies and gentlemen, all the best for your exams, and I hope everyone comes out with a grade 1. Remember, study the content, then you practice past paper questions. Don't just go out there and swat past paper questions and hope that questions repeat, right? CXC says that they will be giving you guys new questions this year. If you don't know the content, then I am sorry for you, right? Because I can't help you in the exam. So yeah, the best way to pass is to know the content, then practice past paper questions. All right, ladies and gentlemen, all the best for your exams. And I hope that you are putting the work and you will get the desired grade. Remember to go over to my other YouTube channel, that's Corey Fences, and subscribe and watch a couple of the videos. Thank you very much. Goodbye.